Apparently, men can smell when women are fertile. It's one of those ideas that gets repeated so often that it starts to sound like a fact. And the theory goes like this. As women move through their menstrual cycle, their body odour subtly shifts. So when they're ovulating, that's when they are the most fertile. Men supposedly find how they smell more attractive. And there is an evolutionary logic behind this. If a man can detect when a woman is fertile, he can time mating to increase the chances of reproduction. And that would make sense. Many of our closest relatives, like chimpanzees, show obvious physical signs when they're ovulating. They get sexual swelling, that's swelling in their anogenital region to show that they're fertile. But humans don't. So, is there really an invisible signal like scent that lets men detect fertility? One study recruited 29 women between the ages of 20 and 30 who weren't using hormonal contraception, and they tracked each woman's cycle using hormone levels and ovulation strips, so they knew where the women were at in their cycle. They also collected samples of armpit smell across 10 different points during their cycle, before, during, and after ovulation. The team then analysed the chemical composition of these odour samples. They wanted to know if there were consistent differences in scent linked to ovulation. The answer was no. The chemical makeup didn't vary in any reliable way between the fertile and non-fertile phases. But if there's no chemical marker shifting, maybe men could detect something that the tests couldn't. So they brought in 91 men to rate the odour samples for attractiveness, pleasantness, and intensity. And again, no consistent preferences. The men didn't rate fertile samples as more attractive. So the idea that men can smell ovulation, well, there's no strong evidence for it. Now, this doesn't mean that body odour never changes over the menstrual cycle, because hormones like estradiol and progesterone change throughout the cycle, and there are hormone receptors in armpit tissue. But if there is a signal, it's subtle, maybe something you'd only notice after spending a lot of time with the same person. Now, you might have heard of another study. This one looks at lap dancers, and it claimed that dancers earned more tips when they were ovulating, i.e. they were fertile. This study is often used to support the scent theory, but it had a really small sample size, only 18 dancers, and it relied on self-reported data, so people remembering where they were at in their cycle and what tips they were earning. Dancers also knew that the study was about ovulation and tips, which could have affected what they remembered. There's other factors like mood and confidence or customer behaviour that could also explain the changes, and nobody has managed to replicate this study, so I'm not sure about that one. It's also really difficult to disentangle the impact of behaviour, because often when a woman is ovulating, she's got lots of really good, feel-good hormones swimming around, and that could translate into higher confidence and just generally feeling fab and therefore more attractive. So where does this leave us? Well, unlike many non-human primates, human ovulation appears to be concealed, so it's not obvious when a human female is ovulating. We don't show any outward signs, and there's little evidence for a strong chemical signal as well. And that might have been evolutionary advantageous, because by concealing ovulation, women may have more control over mate choice, social bonding, and parental investment. Let me know if you'd be interested in videos on these topics.